Welcome to another AIM recipe demo. I'm Michelle, your nutrition educator. AIM stands for the Agricultural Institute of Marin, a 501c3 nonprofit organization that operates 8 certified farmers markets in the San Francisco Bay Area. AIM's mission is to educate the public about the health, environmental, and economic impacts of eating locally grown food directly from farmers, and to connect and support communities and local food systems so the public can access healthy, sustainably grown food. Check out our website at www.agriculturalinstitute.org to learn more about where you can find an AIM market or our mobile market, the Roland Route. Let's get started. Today I'll be demonstrating a mushroom bulgur pilaf recipe using produce available at AIM's farmers markets. I love this recipe because it uses lots of mushrooms and it also includes greens and a whole grain, so it's tasty, nutritious, and filling. For ingredients, first we'll need the star of this show, mushrooms. Mushrooms add a ton of flavor, but even better, these little guys are filled with nutrients. They have B vitamins for energy, vitamin D, which is great for your bones, and potassium, which is an electrolyte that's important for heart health. There are many kinds of mushrooms, but you'll probably most often see white button, brown cremini, or portobello, which are really just a large, mature version of cremini mushrooms. But it's definitely worth experimenting if you find a new to you variety at the market or at the Roland Route. I'm going to use cremini mushrooms. I stored them in the refrigerator in a paper bag, and then right before slicing them, I removed the dirt with a damp towel, just like this. You can also give them a really quick rinse under running water and then dry them off quickly, but I find that a damp cloth is just a little bit easier. For this recipe, I'm using 3 cups of sliced brown cremini mushrooms, which is about 10 to 12 medium-sized ones. The thing that makes this a pilaf is the next ingredient, bulgur wheat. Bulgur is a whole grain, which means that the outside part of the grain, the bran, is still intact, and the outer bran is where most of the fiber and nutrients are. Apart from the nutrition, I especially like bulgur because of its nutty taste and because it cooks quite quickly. Here we're going to need 3/4 cup dried. Finally, we'll need 2 cups of packed fresh spinach. I'm using spinach today, but this is also another chance to use other greens if you find them at the market or on the Roland Route. Kale, collard greens, mustard greens, or broccoli rabe are all great possibilities. Okay, for our other ingredients, we'll need a cup of a chopped onion, 1.5 teaspoons of olive oil, 1 to 2 cloves of minced garlic, or you can use a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder if you don't have fresh handy, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and then you'll want 1.5 cups of liquid, either a low sodium broth or water. We're paying attention to the sodium since the US dietary guidelines recommend limiting our daily intake to what amounts to less than a teaspoon of salt per day. Most of us get the vast majority of our sodium through packaged foods, so we can limit our intake by either using plain water or our own homemade broth where we've limited the amount of salt, or by using packaged low sodium broth. Even those that say no salt added on the package though, sometimes still have a lot of sodium, so it's important to check the label. I like to be in charge of flavoring my dishes, and we have plenty going on in this recipe already, so I'm going to use plain water for my pilaf. And now we're ready to put this all together.
Okay, this is all going to happen in a medium saucepan or skillet that has a tight-fitting lid. First, put the oil and the onion in the pan over medium heat. Sauté until the onions are soft, which will take about 5 minutes. Next, we'll add the mushrooms and sauté until they begin to brown, stirring frequently. This will take another 5 minutes. Next, we'll stir in the bulgur until it is very lightly toasted. This should just be 1 to 2 minutes. Because I have fresh garlic, I'm going to add that now and stir it in for 30 to 45 seconds, just until it's fragrant. Now we'll add the water and pepper, and if you didn't have fresh garlic, go ahead and add your garlic powder now. Give everything a stir, cover the pan with the lid, and then turn the heat down to low. From this point, we'll just let it cook for 15 to 20 minutes until the bulgur has absorbed all the liquid. Okay, we've removed the pan from the heat completely, and now we'll mix in the spinach. The heat from the pan is enough to gently cook the spinach. If you're using a sturdier green like kale or mustard greens, you may want to lightly saute them separately before you mix them in. This is something you could do while you wait for the bulgur to finish cooking. And here's our finished dish.
Since it has mushrooms, greens, and bulgur, it fills both the vegetable and the grain sections of my plate. And that makes it great as a nutrient-filled hearty side at dinner, or if you have leftovers, that can make a nice light lunch for tomorrow. And again, this is a great opportunity to mix and mash mushrooms or experiment with different types of greens you might find at the market or on the roll-in route. Thank you so much for joining me for another recipe demonstration using seasonal ingredients you can find at Ames Farmers Markets. Keep checking Ames' website for new videos of local farms and interviews with farmers growing your food. Our education team is working hard to bring in-person programming online, and we're looking forward to sharing more with you very soon.